Most dog owners are spending hours training obedience and still wondering why their dog doesn't seem connected to them. What am I saying? Here's the breakdown. Tune in. One of the biggest mistakes I see dog owners make is believing that obedience automatically creates a great relationship with their dog. They spend countless hours teaching a perfect heel, a perfect sit, a perfect down, and they assume that once those commands are reliable, the bond between them and their dog will naturally become stronger. The reality is that obedience and relationship are not the same thing. I've met dogs with incredible obedience. These are dogs that can perform advanced routines with unbelievable precision. Some of them compete at the highest levels of dog sports and can execute complex behaviors flawlessly. Yet, when you watch those same dogs outside of a training environment, you often see something very different. They are brought out to work, they perform their routine, they do exactly what has been trained, and then they are put away again. During the moments when they are simply existing and interacting with their handler without any task to perform, there is often very little engagement. The dog becomes interested in something else, grabs a toy or a ball and pays very little attention to the person holding the lead. That happens because obedience is a skill. It is something that can be trained through repetition, reinforcement and conditioning. A dog can learn to perform behaviors exceptionally well without ever developing a genuine relationship with the person training them. This is where many owners get stuck. They spend so much time drilling commands and rewarding behaviors that they unknowingly turn themselves into a vending machine. The dog learns that sitting earns food, walking to heel earns food, and following instructions earns food. The entire interaction becomes transactional. The dog is not engaging with the owner because of the relationship. The dog is engaging because he has learned that certain actions produce certain rewards. Now, don't get me wrong, there is absolutely nothing wrong with rewards. Food is an incredible, valuable training tool, and I use it myself a lot. The problem starts when rewards become the entire foundation of the interaction. A real relationship is built outside of structured training sessions. It develops during everyday life. It comes from how you interact with your dog when nothing is being asked of them. It comes from play, from shared experiences, from guidance, from boundaries, and from spending meaningful time together. A dog that only pays attention when there is food available is demonstrating a learned behavior. A dog that voluntarily chooses to engage with you when there is no obvious reward available is demonstrating a relationship. I recently, not too long ago actually, I worked with a client who was completely focused on obedience. She has spent months teaching sits, downs and stays, all the usual commands. Inside the house, the dog looked absolutely fantastic. Everything appeared to be working perfectly. The problem started the moment they stepped outside. The dog would pull on the lead, become fixated on the environment, bark at other dogs and completely ignore its owner. Despite all the obedience work that had been done, there was no real engagement once distractions entered the picture. The issue wasn't a lack of obedience, the issue was a lack of relationship. So the first thing I asked her to do was to stop obsessing over commands just for a little while. I told her to put the treats away and spend time engaging with the dog instead. I encouraged her to play tug, to have fun, to create excitement and to build value in herself outside of food. At the same time, I explained the importance of clear boundaries and accountability. If the dog was doing something that wasn't acceptable, it needed guidance and direction. If the dog jumped on furniture when it wasn't allowed, it needed to be removed. If the dog attempted behaviors that crossed established rules, those behaviors needed to be addressed consistently. Over the next couple of weeks, the entire dynamic of the relationship completely changed. The dog began paying more attention to its owner. It started checking in naturally during walks. Engagement improved dramatically, not because more obedience had been added, but because a relationship had finally been developed. The dog wasn't just looking at her as the person who carried treats anymore. It was looking at her as a source of guidance, direction, fun, and leadership. Distinction is incredibly important. Obedience absolutely matters for all dogs and of all ages. Every dog should understand basic commands and have a clear understanding of expectations. Obedience creates structure and helps owners communicate effectively with their dogs. The mistake is treating obedience as the foundation when it should really be built on top of something much deeper. The relationship is the foundation. When you have a strong relationship, obedience becomes way easier, engagement becomes easier, your recall becomes easier, your dog wants to work with you because there is value in the relationship itself. Without that foundation, obedience often falls apart the moment the environment becomes more interesting than the reward in your pocket. The strongest dog-owner relationships are built through a combination of leadership, play, accountability, communication, and shared experiences. These are the things that create genuine engagement. These are the things that make your dog want to be around you even when there's nothing obvious to gain. If you focus exclusively on obedience drills, you risk creating a dog that performs commands without ever truly connecting with you. If you focus on building a relationship first, obedience becomes a natural extension of that connection. So my best advice that I can give you is spend time with your dog outside of training sessions. Play with them, engage with them, create experiences together, set clear boundaries and be consistent with them. Become someone your dog genuinely wants to follow, not simply someone who hands out rewards. When you build that kind of relationship, everything else starts to fall into place. If you need help building engagement, creating a stronger bond with your dog, or solving behavioural problems through better leadership and communication, visit Franki's Canine Training and book a consultation. I'll put a link for you to book a call in the description below, and I cannot wait to see you there. And remember, your dog's behaviour isn't random. It's a result of what you're doing every single day. Will you change it or keep living with it? I don't know, but I guess we'll find out. Take care.